Okay, so I think we are live. I'm several minutes early, and I'm trying out the live stream on the laptop. Haven't done that before. Okay, so this is the 1 year celebration, 1 year anniversary celebration, and we're gonna just be recapping the year. And if anybody has anything to ask, go ahead and ask it. I've got the chat up, and told everybody 7:30, and it is almost 7:30, so we'll just wait a little bit. So we've got the year in. Okay, 1 year recap. So I've been doing. Let's see. I've been doing gaming every time I get 100 new subscribers, and it's been a while since I've gotten. At first I got I got 100, then I got 200 and 300. I haven't gotten to 400 yet, so I'm waiting on 400. I want to get to 1,000. Let me tell you why I want to get to 1,000. It's not so I'm monetized. I don't want to be monetized, but I do want to be able to do a few more things, like put up graphics, post graphics on YouTube, so it goes to subscribers' feeds and they see it. Do surveys. That would be awesome. And be able to post announcements and share videos. Those are all things that you can't do until you get to 1,000. So, still waiting to get to 1,000. So, in the last year, so I've done a lot of videos. Let me look at my videos on my channel. I'll just bring them up on my. Let me pull up my channel. Yeah, I'm at 387 subscribers. Hey, it's me. I'm going live. Look at that. It's me. I'm live. I'm live right now. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I've been putting out some I started with Harrington's Oceana, and that is a marvelous book. And I just read Pocock's The Machiavellian Moment, and that is just the history of classical republicanism. Well, really from the Florentine perspective to the English perspective, and then also touching on the American Revolution, and that was just blew my mind, and it confirms some of my thoughts on classical republicanism and the American founding. So the American my big thesis is that the American founding was influenced by two different ideologies. You have classical republicanism on one hand, and on the other you have classical liberalism. And classical liberalism, is a newer thing. It kind of came out of classical republicanism during the Enlightenment, and so classical republicanism really goes all the way back theoretically to Aristotle, and in practice all the way to the Spartans and the Lycurgan reforms. So Lycurgus is the supposed founder of Sparta, and he is somebody that you want to. Well, he's not. Is not. He's not probably not a real person, and so you have Lycurgus, who represents or a change or a reestablishment of I don't know, something, a state. And so that state became Sparta, and he was given credit if he was or a group of people were given this credit for uh, making these changes in Sparta, and they had redistribution of land. You had certain class of people who were devoted to the martial arts and state defense, and then you had vast classes of slaves, and then people who pretty much ran the farms, ran businesses and stuff. So and that became representative of a stable society. Yeah, so we've seen many republics that are very stable. You have Sparta, lasted several centuries. You have Venice, lasted 1,000 years. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But then you have several other republics, and I've been highlighting those on my videos. I put out the Republic of what is it? What was it? Oh, the Septinsular Republic, and that was a very interesting, short-lived state of the Ionian Islands in Greece. But they did give a lot. They kind of gave inspiration to the rest of Greece, and Greece was able to break free from the Ottoman Empire. But they were forced to have a king placed over them, a German king. So that was too bad. But eventually, twice, they got rid of the king. They got rid of him in the early 20th century, came back with Metaxas, and then then they got rid of him again. So long live the Republic of Greece, the Hellenic Republic. So yeah, the reason why we don't like monarchies as Republicans is because it gives all power to one individual, and that person dominates over the rest of society. So the Republicans' plan, and we've seen this in Sparta and in the Roman Republic, and most other republics, that once you get rid of the king, you still have classes in your state, in your society, and those classes and those different sectors of society need to be able to be represented and be somewhat satisfied, not completely satiated, but to be to get they need to all feel like they're winning some of the time. So that's where republicanism comes in, and the idea of non-domination. Okay, because if say you get rid of the king, and you have a small group of people, or maybe even it's a large group of people, and they dominate, that's and maybe they trample on some people's rights, even if it's the majority. That's not a very good thing, and you need to have checks and balances. So all the different sectors of society really need to be able to have the ability to not be dominated by anybody else. So we're not talking about anarchy, although there are several things that classical republicanism would admire about anarchy. Anarcho, whatever the different, there's different forms of anarchism. And so if you're, there's the idea of in anarchism of dual power. And, that's really similar to checks and balances, or maybe separation of powers. And so it gives people a different option to look for relief from domination. So speaking of looking for relief from domination, I've started these gardening videos, and I know I have some viewers who really like those videos. I'm not sure everybody likes those videos, but I've brought more land in my backyard under cultivation, and so I am able to grow more food. Tonight I am celebrating with my grape juice. So cheers. Here's to 1 year. Hopefully many more. And many more subscribers. So that's my grape juice that I make from my backyard. And I am refreshed. I don't have to buy it from anybody else. I don't have to have somebody supply it for me. I am able to refresh myself undominated. So so I mean that's becoming even more important with the way things are, and with the way things are economically. And this is October 7th. It's been a lovely autumn so far. Hopefully it continues this way. We're 1 week into October. We've gone here in southern Idaho. We've gone. This was several years ago, but one October, I looked out the window. This was towards the end of October, but still, I looked out the window and it looked like it was the middle of February because it had just been really, really harsh cold had come over the land. But hopefully everything, we get a little bit more of a nice autumn. We had a really bad spring because we kept having frosts, even though it would be nice and warm during the day. We'd have these terrible frosts all the way into May. It was really bad, and so lost a lot of my my young plants, and they died out there in the garden, and so that was really sad. But hopefully we get payback this autumn. I've got a bunch of tomatoes coming on, so hopefully, yeah. And I'm gonna be doing more videos about the relation of agrarianism and the republic. Hopefully this winter I'll be able to do some more interviews with more agrarian people around here. We've got different types of agrarian people. You've got people who are in big ag, and big ag, and then there are people who are pretty much just doing things themselves, and maybe farming is a side gig for them, but they're really into it, and it helps them out either mentally and spiritually, or it helps them out a little bit economically. So I want to get some interviews with people there. If you know anybody who'd be interested in interviewing, who's really into gardening. The thing that really sparked this was one of my friends on Instagram was talking, was sharing I think it was a tweet about, I forget who it was, but they were saying if you do these things, it had like 4 pictures, then you're a right winger, and you're like, it's the entry to fascism, and one of those was gardening. And I'm sure, fascists do all of those things. At some fascists do those things. But I think it's very simple-minded. I believe to just say that, oh, you do one activity, you're probably a fascist, unless you're like going to fascist meetings, like that one activity. Yeah, that would be you're definitely a fascist. I'll break it to you. You're a fascist if you're going to the fascist meetings. But then, one thing that's really interesting that we've been studying this year is distributism. Okay, and I have been studying. I've been looking into a little bit of some fascist beliefs, and distributism is among them. You have the what's it called, the National Conservatives now, and they have their own YouTube channel, and they I don't know, I thought it was like once a year, but I don't know, they're always going, it seems like, or maybe they're just posting them in spurts or something. But they have conventions and they get together, and it's really a broad spectrum of right wingers among the National Conservatives. Some of them are a little scary. Some of them are pretty. They're dabbling in fascism. But then there are I don't know. There are some people who aren't so right wing, but they have like one idea that's really right wing, and so they come there and they speak to hear the other people's ideas and to broadcast their own. And you see distributism among those people. They're anti-capitalist, um, usually very socially conservative, and yeah, and so you get dabblings in distributism there. But at the same time, I'm reading some Sinn Féin stuff, some Irish Republicanism, and we're getting into some pretty Marxist stuff with Sinn Féin, and in their economic plan that came out in the 70s. It was they identify distributism. So I mean, maybe it's just a Catholic thing, because you have some fascists who are Catholic, but you also have some Marxists who are Catholic, and they all seem to think that distributism can play a part. If you don't know what distributism is, watch my videos on it. I have several a couple interviews with people who have been involved in the ASP, the American Solidarity Party, and then I have some videos on the background. So the Rerum Novarum, which was the papal encyclical put out by I can't remember which pope right now, but in the late 19th century, and he kind of put it out there as another way, a third way, which is sometimes that's what fascists called themselves, like a third way. We're not liberals, we're not Marxists, we're a third way. Yeah, and that brings me to some of my videos on Alexander Dugin, which have been really popular on YouTube, because everybody's trying to figure out why Russia invaded Ukraine. And one of the guys really, I mean, he's got to take responsibility. I mean, sometimes he does take responsibility, and sometimes he says, "Oh no, I'm just a guy, and Putin's our leader." But what Dugin is doing, he's providing a lot of ideological justification for the war in Ukraine. So yeah, so when people search for videos on why the war happened and learn about Dugin, they come across my video, or I guess I had a couple videos, and yeah, it was really sad that his daughter got killed by the NRA, the National Republican, what was it? National Republican Army. That's what it was. And the National Republican Army, well, I mean, that's a terrorist act right there, but are they going to be able to pick up any more support in the effort to overthrow the domination of Putin? I don't know, but it seems like they are trying to fight with using Republican principles. I don't know much about them yet. They had a manifesto which seemed reasonable, I guess you could say. But it's too bad that they went after the wrong person and got Dugin's daughter. So that was terrible to, it's always terrible to see your child suffer, and then to see them die in front of you. That's got to be really bad. And it's probably going to even radicalize Dugin even more. So, we'll see how that turns out. I will try to stay attuned to any of their activities and report on them, so that we can, learn together what's going to happen with this movement in Russia. But yeah, so yeah, those are a lot of the videos that I put out. I got a lot in the pipeline here. I saved a lot of my videos for my travels in Italy. I hope you liked all the ones in Greece. I've got a bunch in Italy that I'm going to put out. I'm going to... and I've been doing Andor reviews. I'm going to do another one tonight. Yeah, so with all the talk, although this last episode I haven't put out the review yet, but there is a little bit of politics, mention of a manifesto, and so that's kind of interesting. As far as Star Wars politics goes, it has been disappointing. You see those you've seen like bumper stickers, memes and stuff. The Empire was right. It was all about join the Empire, and it's all about bringing order to the galaxy. And I don't know. It's I think Disney had it coming, maybe, but I think with Andor they're going to show that it's a little bit more, maybe a little bit more of the political side. They're going to show. I've seen some reviews that they're showing that there's gray areas on both sides, but ultimately you have to choose sides, and the whatchamacallit, the Empire is they're trying to bring order, but they're also killing a lot of people and taking away a lot of people's rights. Eventually they're going to disband the Senate, and people don't even have collective rights unless you're a corporation that's in league with the Empire. So so I mean, it's domination by the Emperor, really by the Emperor, because the Emperor is really in charge. I mean, even Vader, has to bow to the Emperor. He's not his equal. So So we're going to have more Andor. Let's see. One thing. Oh, did I not release my election of the Doge? Yeah, I'm going to have to do that soon. And yeah, gonna do some more reaction videos. I got some more interviews in the pipeline, and I hope you like those. Let's see, what do we got? You've seen all the ASP. What else do I have? Oh, I have another interview with Red Republicans. That's excellent. Oh, and then I don't think I've dropped any of my videos with Anarcho Wabbit. So we're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see some of those. And he's an anarchist that I've been collaborating with on videos. So we're gonna see some more of him. Oh, I have a social democrat who is we're going to talk to. She's actually an archaeologist, interesting person. Going to be talking more about mutual aid. Mutual aid is very important. And then also an interview with Peter Stone, who talks about sortition. So sortition is very important to the democratic element of a republic. And what else do we have coming out here? Oh, Mazzini. I still need to talk a lot more about Mazzini. And you're gonna get an earful of Mazzini. Mazzini is really interesting, somewhat controversial. He was friends with Marx and Bakunin back in the day, but eventually they had a falling out. Right after the Paris Commune. Nobody agreed on that. Bakunin and Marx didn't agree on it, but they both hated what Mazzini said about it. So we're gonna learn about that. And then, so I talk a lot about theory, right? A lot of theory. There's got to be practice too. So we're going to be getting into New Hampshire and the New Hampshire regime, for lack of a better term, the way they do the way they do republicanism there, and I argue that it's a lot better than every other state in the Union of the United States of America, because what you have is a large Democratic element in the House of Representatives. Okay, so you have like 3,000 to 5,000 people are represented by one person. In my home state of Idaho, you got like 50,000, maybe 70,000. So, yeah, and so you can have better representation. And then another thing, so one thing that's a check on that, maybe the excesses of democracy, you have a very small Senate. And I haven't been able to get an interview with a senator because they're all so busy. There's only like 24 of them or something, and they're very busy. The House has 400, and I've got an interview coming up. It hasn't been I don't want to say who it is because we haven't actually done it yet, so I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, so I have a very special interview coming up with a member of the House of Representatives, and I've already had an interview with a member of the Executive Council. The Executive Council is a check on the excesses of the monarchical element of their republic, the governor. So a lot of the decisions have to be made collectively. They have a veto power over some issues, and so So yeah, I mean the governor has to work with 5 other people um, who are gonna have a check over him. So that's really interesting, and I think we've been having a discussion in our state. Some states they have a separate lieutenant governor, and in other states they have a lieutenant governor who runs on the same ticket, kind of like how the United States has the president and vice president running on the same ticket. And so we've kind of been having a discussion about that because we had a lot of trouble between our governor and our lieutenant governor the last few years. And so they've been discussing, well, maybe they need to be more on board with each other and not trying to undercut one another, and so have them be on the same ticket. But I mean, I don't know. But I think a better alternative um, is to have uh, an executive council. So you have more checks and balances rather than just personalities going back and forth. So I think that's really interesting. A lot of people don't understand what that is. The executive council, you have to explain it to them, and so one thing that I want to try in practice is to um, put forth an effort to expand the House of Representatives in Idaho. So that's going to be tricky, but I'm gonna try for it, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'm at beyond my half hour mark at 32 minutes. And well, I'm gonna call it a night. So um, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And until next time, long live the Republic.